flown both ways, and one was struck as t'other. Weren't a day passed that Sir Hugo didn't pay a visit to Seven Spouts to hinder Johanne at her work, and weren't a morning went by that she didn't run to the gate to catch a leg of him a-trotting up the hill. Of course, weren't difficulty for either of them, since no Hill were part of the Burdett estate, and Sir Hugo had every right to be there. He were heir and would be master when at age. Trouble was that was still a way off, and then it was that Baron Boyville that had charge of things. He was Sir Hugo's uncle and guardian, the lad having lost his father fighting Teethans. Of course, the Baron did any gang batch between the pair were largely surprising, were it? Him a nigh-born knight, and she not bit a dairy maid. Well, a dairy maid even. And another thing, he'd been doing very nicely out of the estate while young Hugo were growing, and he didn't see why this should continue, especially if he could marry the lad off to some rich heiress. Still, I expect it's the same in your time. You try and stop them young'uns doing something, and they're more than likely goes and cross yous anyways. Didn't matter what Boyville said to young Hugo. He carried on visiting the dairy like he always did, and she kept looking out for him and trotting up the same hill as usual. When he seen that there was no chance of persuading Hugo to give up our Johanne, he had to think of another way of skinning his rabbit. First, he made her a better offer, and a right fat funny looking thing he was. Anyway, she was having none of that. Then he thought on that wretched friar Bernard.
Will you look at him? If the daughters of Eve are deceitful and cunning, then the sons of Adam are stupid as asses. Such arrogance, such conceit, to think that one so young and fair would cast more than a glance at such a pot-bellied oaf with stinking breath and rheumy eyes. And as for his gold, that wily witch hedge that dogs the maid's heels has made it perfectly clear that once the lad is of age, his fortune would far outstrip the meagre pot of Boyville. Wife or mistress, her future bode well. But the Lord's provided where needs must. And as the good friar beat his fist against his thigh at the vexation at the way things were turning out, the answer lay at his very feet. A sprig of mistletoe fell from his robe, and he remembered the maying when such a sprig had fallen from the good wife's basket as she made her Sir Hugo a drink. The friar smiled. A charge of witchcraft would see that meddlesome good wife hang, and the world no better place for it. But he was kind and gentle, a God-fearing man. He would be considerate, and he would not press charges as long as the girl went off to join his sisters at Grace Dieu.
I wished I lived below.